Are you sick of this? Are you sick of living in boring neighborhoods with nothing but these stupid grass lawns that do nothing for you, take tons of money and effort and look like that and this, and you have competitions with neighbors? Screw grass. We can do better than grass. So let's replace at least some of that lawn with something that's going to feed us. Something that's not only going to save us money, but it's going to get us outside more. It's going to heal the planet. It looks like a ton of maintenance and work long term, but it doesn't have to be, not if you set it up right. That's what I'm going to show you today. How to get started building your own food forest. So if you're interested in all this and you want to take control of where your food comes from and you want to leave behind for your family something that you can be proud of, a legacy, a true legacy, stick around. This is the video for you. Let's go. So I went from a dead grass lawn, a little worse than this because this is after I'd started, to making a food forest in the exact same spot. It's really hard to believe that this is only 3 years later. In another area that was waist high with weeds, I mowed the weeds down and removed all the grass and made a garden. And this is what it looked like this year. I wish I would have known I didn't have to do all that work. It was a ton of work. Many people watching this video right now, you're exactly where I was when I started. No idea where to start, no idea how to start, and I fumble my way along. I'm gonna help you skip through all the mistakes that I made. First one is that you don't have to remove all that grass. And in fact, you shouldn't remove the grass. We can use it. We're going to do something else called sheet mulching, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first, we're going to need a plan. And for that, we're going to need information. And this is really good news because you're not going to get overwhelmed. You have time for the plan to come together. We're going to start off by taking photos of where we think we want the garden. We're going to do this at different times of the day, morning, afternoon, night, all from the same spot, capturing multiple different angles. I've spoken about this in previous videos, but this is an area that I want to have planted, and I can see right now where I'm getting sun. This is roughly 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and I can see where I have shade and I can see where I have sun. I want that information for all parts of the day. And if you want a lot of detail on things that you can be observing on your land in order to maximize your food forest garden, I'll link to a video here that I did extensively on that subject. Not only just sun, water, pressure, light, and just energy flows into your land to make sure that you're maximizing how much energy your little black box of a garden food forest is going to absorb. That's going to determine how much and how fast your stuff will grow. Because remember that the more that we offset to nature and the more energy we have coming in, the less maintenance this is going to be long term. The faster you'll get established and the easier your life is going to be. Once we know that the area that we want a garden bed actually has sun and how much amounts of sun, then we can choose what plants are going to go where. And at that point, we know that we're going to have some kind of garden there, so we can start sheet mulching. So for the next part, we're going to need a lot of wood chips. The best way to get them is free. So I'm going to show you how to get wood chips for free. We're going to get online and we're going to go to our local yellow pages and we're going to look up tree clearing services, arborists in the area that we are. For these people, wood chips are actually something that they have to pay to get rid of. 126 results. We're going to go through this and we're going to just start calling people and we're going to ask them if they're ever in our area, would they like to drop off wood chips for us? And when they do, especially if you're at home when they drop them off, make sure you give the guys a can of beer, $20, coffee shop, donut store gift certificate. Stay on their good side and they'll drop you off load after load of free wood chips. Another option that might work for you, it doesn't for me because nobody around here participates in it, but look up Chip Drop. Chip Drop is a service that you can sign up for as a gardener or as an arborist, and it matches people who have wood chips and want to get rid of them with people who want to get them. So sign up, put your details in, and maybe you'll get someone that wants to drop a load of wood chips off for you for free. Each load is a ton of money saved, and each load represents 30 to 100 years worth of stored solar energy, all inside carbon. The next thing we're going to need is a whole lot of cardboard. Probably way more than you think we're going to need. So start looking on recycling days, look outside furniture stores and start collecting. What you want to find here is big, large pieces of cardboard, no glossy print. You just want brown boxes. Ink is fine on the boxes. It's soy-based ink. Amazon packing boxes are fine. Even the tape is compostable, but lots and lots of cardboard. I'll link here to a guide that goes step by step through every single stage of sheet mulching, why we do it, and the benefits for why we go through this process. If we set this up right, then we can actually use the grass as food to feed the soil microbiology that our plants are going to depend on. Now this is something that we're going to do way ahead of time. We can actually leave this for up to like a year or 2 years, just like this, as a pile of wood chips and mulch. And the system is going to build and build and build soil microbiology. But if we want, we can actually take it another step. Now if you're at this stage in the wintertime, wait for spring. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to plant a victory tree, and we're going to plant soil building, easy to seed crops. Now the victory tree isn't a type of tree. There might be a tree called the victory tree, but I don't know about it. The victory tree is, we're going to need a victory here. So I want you to look around what grows really, really well in your area. For me, it would probably be apples. There's apple orchards everywhere. I want you to find a tree that grows really well where you are, local to you, and plant at least one of those. For the rest of the trees, don't do what everyone does. Don't go and try and plant bananas in Canada. Save that for once you've got established. Look for what grows locally to you. Look for what you enjoy eating. Plant what you enjoy to eat. Biggest lesson that I can probably pass on to you guys. Don't try to grow all these weird things. Just stick with the basics of things that you know you like. Now, just like the victory tree, we're going to give it some victory bushes. So pick 3 bushes that you like. They could all be the same. They can be different. Little berry bushes of berries and food that you really like to eat. We're going to plant those around the tree, roughly 2 feet away from the tree, in a circle around the tree. And then we're going to plant garlic. Garlic is something that can grow in almost any climate, and it's idiot proof. So it's something that, it's another victory plant. It's almost impossible to kill garlic. Now you might do it. Don't get discouraged if you do. But if you're going to plant anything that's going to really, really take off and be easy for you, it's garlic. So put garlic everywhere. Ideal time is fall or spring planting. But just get garlic in the ground and get it growing. This is going to be an aromatic barrier for all the new plants that you just put in, and it'll help them survive against little pest pressure. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to just scatter a whole bunch of seeds everywhere. So head down to your garden supply store, your tractor supply store, and ask around for seed mixes of current in-season cover crops. You can sow these even in the wintertime. The seeds will just sit there and then they'll come in the spring. But you really just want to get that carbon pump going. You want to get the photosynthesis going. And these seed mixes will have a whole bunch of different plants that have been known for soil building. So it's a really good idea to just blanket your bed in a bunch of cover crops. It could be anything from cowpea vetch alfalfa to winter rye in the wintertime. It can even just be parsley or daikon radish spread everywhere. And you don't even need to harvest this stuff. It's not stuff that you're even going to want to eat maybe, but like daikon radish is a great example of something that I will plant even though maybe I don't even like radishes, just because they're such good worm food. I'm just going to let the daikon radishes grow, and I'm going to leave the radishes in the ground for the worms to eat. And then the worms are going to feed, it's basically that radish turns into a giant worm casting fertilizer plug. So just get plants growing in there. And if you really want to nerd out on soil science and you really want to get something lasting in there, I'll link here to a video I made on how to make biochar, a 1,000-year soil amendment for your garden. This is completely optional, but it can really take your garden to the next level in terms of storing every drop of rainwater and really magnifying the nutrient capture, water capture, and amount of life in your soil. Check it out. One last thing, if you don't know what you want to plant yet, you don't want to get plants going, but you know eventually you're going to want a garden bed in a certain area, go right up and do the whole process right up into the sheet mulch, and then just leave it as a bed of cardboard. When you finally do plant in that bed, it is going to be the best soil you've ever seen. So that's it. Extended grass to garden guide, how to start a food forest where you otherwise would just have a useless lawn. It can be a small patch in your front yard. It can be a tiny little corner of your backyard. It doesn't have to be big. If you see some of these videos, I have tremendous diversity in a very, very small space. And the amount of food you can pull out of a small space like that is just, it'll blow your mind how much food you can pull out of a tiny little space. So get started right away. And hey, if you like my videos, if you think that this video and all the information in it that I've accumulated over 5+ years of research, over trial and error, if you feel like you got any value out of that, please share the channel with your friends on social media. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and keep supporting this channel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.